One of the most mysterious groups in Fortnite is the Seven. Who are they? What do they want? And will we ever see them again? And how deep does their war with the Imagined Order really go? Today we're diving into the secrets, betrayals, and epic battles that define the Seven's legacy. Before Chapter 1, the Foundation had long been studying the Zero Point and the vast Omniverse, seeking to understand their mysteries. At an unknown time, and by an undisclosed means, the Foundation began recruiting allies, 6 individuals who would join his cause to bring down the Imagined Order and free the Zero Point. The final recruit was the Origin, who was rescued from an IO prison after fleeing from the last reality and abandoning his role as the Cube King. The greatest threat to their mission was Gino, the ruthless founder of the IO, and the one who held control over the Zero Point. In response, the Seven engineered specialized environmental suits, allowing them to enter and exit the loop freely without falling victim to its memory-wiping effects. In Season 3, a mysterious meteor appears in the sky above the Fortnite island. Its trajectory and impact site is unknown. Tensions rise as it draws closer to the world below. The meteor itself holds a secret. Inside of it, the Visitor. Through his identity and purpose, it remains hidden until the events of the following season. During Season 4, the meteor finally crashes into the island, obliterating Dusty Depot and leaving behind a massive impact site known as Dusty Divot. At the heart of the meteor lies a mysterious space capsule containing the Visitor, the first revealed member of the Seven who arrived from an unknown world. After remaining dormant for weeks, the Visitor escaped the capsule during Week 7, breaking free from the research facility built around the crash site. He then made his way to the villain lair near Snobby Shores, where he uses volatile hop rockets to modify a movie prop rocket into a fully operational spacecraft. On June 30th, 2018, the Visitor launches this rocket, triggering the first live event in Fortnite called Blast Off. As the rocket soars through the skies, it opens a rift in reality, vanishing into it. Moments later, just for it to reappear across different locations on the map, repeatedly tearing through space-time. Finally, it ascends into the sky one last time, leaving behind a massive sideways rift looming above the island, marking the beginning of a new era in Fortnite's evolving story. Following the events of Season 9, the Zero Point was left exposed. Its unstable energy further destabilized reality across the island. In response, the Imagined Order manipulated a member of the Seven into intervening. Suspended in time above the newly restored Dusty Depot was a meteor from an alternate reality. From within it, the scientists emerged. Tasked with restoring balance, the scientists constructed rift beacons across the island. These devices opened 6 massive rifts in the sky, signaling the unraveling of space-time. During this period, the scientists recorded a series of enigmatic audio logs, tapes that players could collect. In them, he detailed his fragmented memories and his struggle to stay focused while trapped in the loop. In the end event, the scientists launched a rocket into the sky, activating the 6 rift beacons. Rockets emerged from each rift, converging into a choreographed sequence to unfreeze the suspended meteor. Together, they redirected it into the Zero Point. Upon impact, a cataclysm explosion consumed the island, collapsing it into a black hole. Reality itself was rewritten. The result of this is the birth of a new world, as the shattered remains of the islands were reformed into what would have been Apollo and Artemis Islands, ushering in a new chapter of Fortnite's evolving saga. Now, after the end event, we really don't hear from the Seven. That is, though, until Chapter 2, Season 5. In the aftermath of the Devourer of Worlds event, the Zero Point is left exposed and unstable. As the season begins, Agent John Jones is sent into the loop by the Imagined Order to prevent anyone from escaping and to contain the growing chaos. His superior Dr. Sloan briefly mentions the Seven, hinting at their looming importance as Jones dives headfirst into the fractured reality. Throughout the season, Jones records a series of reality logs in which he attempts to uncover information about the Seven. Despite his efforts, though, his existence remains shrouded in mystery. Frustrated and desperate, Jones begins plotting to obtain the knowledge and the power for himself. The Zero Crisis finale. As reality continues to collapse, Jones takes a bold step and attempts to recruit help from the Seven. His call is answered by the Foundation, the leader of the group. Like his predecessors, the Foundation arrives encased with the meteor-like capsule. Initially hostile, the Foundation is convinced to cooperate after Jones promises to lead him to Gino and the sisters. Together they work to stabilize the Zero Point. However, they soon realize that its power has grown grown dangerously unstable due to the damage it sustained. In a final act of sacrifice, the Foundation constructs the Spire, a containment structure designed to hold the Zero Point. He instructs Jones to overload the portal device, knowing it will trap them both in the loop. Jones complies, sealing the Zero Point within the Spire alongside the Foundation, temporarily restoring balance, but at a great cost. In Chapter 2, Season 7, when the last reality launched its attack and overtook the Spire, the disruption caused the containment to fail, releasing the Foundation from his sealed state. The violent explosion hurled him across the island, sending him crashing into a distant, vast body of water, where his fate remained unknown. Batman/Fortnite Foundation. Still adrift beneath the ocean's surface, the Foundation began to reactivate. His journey unexpectedly leads him to Gotham Harbor in an alternate dimension, reality NF1935. There, he joins forces with Batman to seal a dimensional rift threatening Metropolis. After the mission, the Foundation returns to the island, unaware that the Batman who laughs was following him through the rift. A brutal fight ensues between the two. Though the Foundation prevails, his suit is damaged in the battle, leaving him vulnerable to the effects of the loop. He narrowly escapes before being fully trapped, retaining his memory and his mission, to find Agent Jones and to stop the imagined order. The Foundation infiltrates the bridge, the IO's secret facility beneath the island, and rescues Agent Jones from captivity. Dr. Sloan, caught off guard by his survival, watches as the Foundation removes his helmet, revealing none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In a decisive move, he punches the control panel and locks Sloan inside. Jones and the Foundation race into the bridge's control room. While Jones holds off the IO guards, the Foundation initiates a reversal of the island's gyroscopic orientation, setting into motion a literal world flip. Meanwhile, the scientist and the visitor soar above the island, rescuing players and ferrying them to safety inside a hidden bunker at Guava Fort. The scientist even detonates a bomb to eliminate several caretakers along the way. As the island begins to rotate and collapse, the scientist leads the players through the collapsing bridge to the Zero Point chamber. Just as safety seems within reach, a massive caretaker smashes through the chamber's skylight, sending the players hurtling into the ocean, far from the crumbling island. In Chapter 3, Season 1, the island has flipped, literally, revealing the hidden domain of the Seven, known as the Sanctuary. This monumental act wasn't just a last-ditch effort to halt the Cube Queen, but a strategic blow aimed at crippling the imagined order from beneath. However, this bold move came at a cost. With their location exposed and their resources stretched thin, the Seven now find themselves vulnerable to retaliation. The Foundation, the Scientist, and the Visitor return to the island, taking on active roles and appearing as NPCs to help the players. Among them, the Scientist becomes particularly involved, enlisting the help of players from tasks ranging from launching rockets to cleaning up after rogue Peelies, but behind the small missions lies a greater urgency. Desperate to reunite the fractured team, the Scientist attempts to contact the Paradigm, a former ally with a strained history among the Seven. In a deeply personal transmission, the Scientist admits that his plan was never to just flip the island. It was part of a larger mission to reduce the IO to a smoking crater. He acknowledges their current vulnerability and confesses that despite whatever happened in the past, they can't win without her, saying, "We don't deserve your help, but we need it." After the message is sent, the Scientist notifies the rest of the Seven that a ping has been detected, possibly from Paradigm. While unsure if it was truly her, he urges his teammates to set aside past grievances. She must be seen as an ally, he declares, stressing that survival depends on unity. There is no future without her. As the season progresses, the Looper continues assisting the Scientist, but near the end, he confronts them, revealing he knows that they may be eavesdropping on his recordings. He doesn't reprimand them, but instead, he warns them, saying, "War is coming, and we must be ready." Chapter 3, Season 2, The War begins. The Imagined Order launches a full-scale invasion of Artemis, catching the island off guard. The Resistance, led by the Seven, mobilizes to defend their homes. Massive drills burst through the ground, revealing to be the source of the recent earthquakes, signaling IO's underground assault. The Order deploys devastating Titan tanks and airborne IO airships, overwhelming the Loopers and disabling building capacities in a strange move to cripple defenses. The tide turns, though, when Doctor Strange appears, opening a portal that brings reinforcements. Those reinforcements are Iron Man, Black Widow, the Scientist, the Visitor, and two previously unseen members of the Seven, the Origin and the Imagined. One of the long-lost sisters, their arrival reignites the Resistance momentum. Throughout the seasons, Jones, the Origin, and the Imagined work closely with the player. The Imagined restores building functionality and re-establishes contact with the Paradigm, who, although is still distant, assists by sending designs for the powerful Anvil rocket launcher. Jones tasks the player with a series of missions, including the surprisingly vital job of teaching Peely how to drive. 5. Meanwhile, the Origin assigns combat-related tasks such as renaissance, sabotage, and security operations. As the conflict escalates, the Resistance begins to push back the IO, reclaiming territory piece by piece. Eventually, the IO is cornered, holding only Command Cavern, the Fortress, and Loot Lake. But this victory is short-lived. Beneath Loot Lake, a terrifying discovery is made. An IO superweapon known as the Collider, a reimagined doomsday device capable of catastrophic destruction. In response, the Seven initiate a sabotage campaign and simulate the Collider's activation, only to discover the simulation ends with the island's total annihilation. Realizing the scale of the threat, the Seven make a fateful decision. They must recommission the Mecha Team Leader, a massive combat robot, and attempt to bring Paradigm back to the island, regardless of the risks. Fortnite X Marvel Zero Wars 1-4. To stop the IO superweapon, the Collider, the Visitor devises a plan. Recover the long-abandoned Mecha Team Leader left behind on the Ice Moon. The scientist warns of risks, but Spider-Man proposes calling in heroes from his own reality for help, specifically Thor and Storm, whose weather manipulation abilities could make the trip possible. Meanwhile, the Origin assists a second mission, travel to Reality 616 to locate a powerful artifact known as the Zero Shard. The team agrees to split up to accomplish both of these tasks. The Foundation, Jones, the Imagined, and Spider-Man infiltrate the bridge in stealth. Guided by Jones, they navigate the complex until he finds his old office and pockets a photo of his long-lost family. At the Zero Point chamber, they are ambushed by Dr. Sloan and Gunnar. Jones manages to open a portal to Reality 616, and he, Spider-Man, and the Imagined escape through it. As they flee, Gunnar attacks the Foundation, crashing him through the ceiling and leaving him behind. In Reality 616, the trio contacts the Avengers, sending them to the island to reinforce the Resistance. They also recruit Wolverine to help track the elusive Zero Shard. Meanwhile, Doctor Doom is welcomed by Gino and the IO's inner circle, forming a new alliance. The Imagined traces the Zero Shard to Wakanda, but the team faces resistance from Wakanda forces. Princess Shuri quickly halts the conflict and offers assistance. However, vibranium interference prevents the Imagined's tech from locating the shard, and Wolverine's heightened sense reveals it has already been moved by lizard-like beings. The team follows the trail to Serpent Valley, where they uncover a hidden hybrid base. A battle breaks out, and the base is destroyed, and the shard's trail is lost again. But Spider-Man suspects Stegron the Dinosaur Man may be involved, and suggests heading to the Savage Land. Meanwhile, the Foundation, Scientist, Iron Man, Thor, and Storm reach the Ice Moon. There, they discover the damaged Mecha Team Leader and awaken the Paradigm, still alive within. She pleads her case to the Foundation, revealing that her apparent betrayal during the final showdown was a ruse to stop the IO from unleashing a doomsday weapon that would have destroyed the island and the Devourer. She warns that the mecha can't be repaired without a power source, unaware that the Zero Shard may be that solution. Back in the Savage Lands, Spider-Man's team fight another wave of hybrids. That night, the Imagined opens up to Wolverine about her connection to Gino, while Jones confides in Spider-Man about his tragic past, how he once served the IO to protect his family, only to outlive them due to his immortality. The next morning, Shuri and Wolverine track the hybrids to a secret lab where they find Stegron and the highly evolutionary, using the Zero Shard to power primal experiments. A fierce battle ensures. While the group engages the villains, Spider-Man sneaks inside, only to learn it was all part of Dr. Doom's master plan. Using the hybrids as pawns, Doom steals the Zero Shard and escapes. The High Evolutionary, now defeated, admits he only sought to protect the shard. The team quickly uses Jones' portal device to follow Doom back to Reality Zero. They arrive back on the Ice Moon, where Doom has fortified a castle surrounded by powerful relics and the imprisoned Ice King. The climate worsens despite Thor and Storm's effects. Doom emerges wielding the Zero Shard and various enhanced artifacts, unleashing chaos on the group. In the climactic battle, Spider-Man recovers the shard and delivers it to the fully repaired mecha. With the Zero Shard as its power source, the Mecha Team Leader roars back to life. Doom escapes to the island, the mecha destroys the Ice King's castle, and the team boards the robot as they prepare for the final confrontation back home. Collision/Fortnite X Marvel Zero War number 5. As the battle looms, Agent Jones and the Seven prepare for one final assault. 90 seconds before launch, the Origin briefs the player, intercepted communications from Gino meant for Dr. Sloan, revealing that the Collider is nearing critical mass far sooner than expected. If it is not stopped now, it will annihilate all life on the island. He introduces the mission's commander, the Paradigm, who will pilot the Mecha Team Leader. While she takes the helm, the Loopers are assigned to operate onboard weapons. The Origin signs off, leaving the Paradigm to lay out the plan. This is the endgame. The target, the Collider. Ground support led by Jones promises to bring down the shields in time for the mecha's arrival. While the players at their stations, the Paradigm initiates launch. The mecha blasts off the ice moon, navigating past asteroids and debris left behind Reality Zero. The mecha re-enters the atmosphere and touches down at Snap's station, immediately confronting battalions of IO tanks. It battles its way forward, but is hit with a powerful laser blast from the fortress. The Paradigm reroutes energy to the Heartbreaker cannon, obliterating the fortress with a counterattack. As the mecha presses towards the collider, it's swarmed by missiles from IO airships, sustaining heavy damage. Jones checks in. The Paradigm is still alive, but the mecha is critically impaired. In response, Healy arrives with the slurp truck and a mud flap. The mecha grabs the truck, crushes it in its hand, and uses the slurp as a massive healing injection, restoring its systems. Unexpectedly, the slurp supercharges the mecha weapons system, removing all heat restrictions. With the mecha revived and empowered, the IO deploys brute units. Meanwhile, Jones and ground team disable the collider's protective shield. The mecha draws its light blade and slashes right through the remaining airships, carving a path directly to the collider. Just as the Paradigm prepares to strike, an earthquake collapses the ground beneath the mecha. It falls, ejecting the Paradigm and the players. They land at the base of the collider, where Agent Jones reunites with them, but are quickly confronted by Dr. Sloan in a tank. Armed with epic assault rifles, Jones and the players push upward towards the collider, joined by the Foundation. Together, they battle IO guards and Brute, dodging tank fires as they ascend. At the same time, the Paradigm works frantically to reboot the mecha. As the fight intensifies, the Zero Point becomes unstable and begins rising through the collider, flickering through alternative realities. Paradigm finally gets the mecha back online, but Sloan blocks the team's path once again. Jones distracts her with the monologue, giving the Paradigm the opening to use the mecha's massive fist to crush Sloan and destroy the bridge. On the upper levels of the collider, Gino enters the battle, confronting his daughters. He hesitates to harm them, but the Imagine makes the ultimate sacrifice, tackling Gino into the Zero Point. Gino vanishes, seemingly unharmed, but furious. He orders the IO to exterminate the resistance before being absorbed into the Zero Point. The Paradigm lifts the players, Jones, and the Foundation to the top of the collider. As the Zero Point locks onto Gino's presence, Jones and the Foundation leap into it to follow him. The players focus fire on the 4 crystal conductors fueling the collider. One by one, they destroy them, severing the collider's link to the Zero Point. The machine implodes. To shield the players from the blast, the Paradigm raises the mecha's hand, absorbing the brunt of the explosion. Elsewhere, inside Gino's reality, Jones and the Foundation land safely. They fist bump, witnessing Gino and the imagined fractured forms disintegrate and scatter across the Omniverse. Gino's remains drift through countless realities before ultimately reassembling him, alive and more dangerous than ever. With the Imagined Order being defeated, the 7 reclaim control of the island. However, peace is short-lived. The scientists notice strange activity surrounding the Zero Point as it begins to lose energy, its power being siphoned by the mysterious reality tree. In response, the Zero Point begins pulling relics from other realities into Reality Zero, signaling that it's in distress. To investigate, the scientist sends the player to collect these relics, piecing together the Zero Point's silent cry for help. As the season progresses, a deeper mystery unfolds. The Imagined, the Order, and the Foundation suddenly vanish without a trace. Alarmed, the Origin, the Visitor, and the scientist retreat to the underground lab beneath Sanctuary to study a new threat, a strange metallic substance spread across the island, that substance being chrome. They are soon joined by the Paradigm, who descends into the lab to assist in the analysis, but the chrome mutates rapidly. Before they can escape, it violently expands and consumes not only the scientist, but the Origin and the Visitor. The Paradigm narrowly escapes the spreading chrome, fleeing through tunnels until she crashes into Loot Lake. With no other option, she reaches out to the Zero Point and uses its power to escape, vanishing into Reality 659, leaving the fate of her allies uncertain and the island on the edge of a new crisis. In Chapter 3, Season 4, with the members of the 7 missing and the Paradigm trapped in Reality 659, Jones reactivates Amy and reaches out to the player to uncover what's happening and finds a solution. They eventually reestablish contact with Paradigm, who warns them about a mysterious voice known as the Nothing. However, the message is particularly distorted, leaving the threat unclear. Soon after, the team attempts to complete the scientist's research on the chrome, but the results are inconclusive. They then shift their focus to the Origin's old battle plans. After locating the Herald, the player and Amy confront and defeat her, but the chrome remains, continuing to spread across the island. The Paradigm sends a final transmission, informing them that she must cut off all communication and urging them to hold on. Jones tells the player that he'll will reach out again once the second phase of the plan begins. Following the destruction of the island by the Herald, the Paradigm enlists the player, Amy, and Jones to collect fragments of the Zero Point to restore its energy and initiate a process called Zero Fusion, which would create a new island. After the fragments are gathered, the Paradigm delivers her final words to the team and triggers Zero Fusion, implying that her sacrifice may be necessary to complete it. In Chapter 4 Season 1, after being taken to the new island by the Zero Point, the Paradigm vanishes, leaving behind one final message for Amy and the player. With Amy's mission drifting beyond reach and Jones becoming inactive, the player emerges as the last active member of the organization. It's strongly implied that the Seven are being reshaped, transformed into something entirely new. In Chapter 4 Season 4, a mysterious artifact known as the Looper Calendar, tied to the legacy of the Seven, is discovered deep within Cato Thorne's estate. It bears the symbol of all members of the Seven, except for the Imagined and the Order, whose absence raises even more questions about their fate. Chapter 4 Season OG. Under the direction of Dr. Sloan, Jones travels back in time and collaborates with one or more members of the Seven from an alternative past. Together they used a time machine attached to a rocket to initiate the black hole event, which ultimately leads to the destruction of Athena and the birth of new realms, referred to as galaxies. This plan was designed to ensure that future inhabitants of Asteria could escape and find refuge across these new worlds. The Big Bang. Jones, or possibly a member of the Seven, pilots the rocket, equipped with the time machine. As the rocket launches, 6 others appear to assist, unfreezing the meteor and rifting it above the Zero Point. The time machine destabilizes the meteor's temporal state, causing it to shift forms before it could collide with the Zero Point. The resulting impact creates a black hole, much like in the End event, but due to the meteor's instability, the black hole explodes rather than simply absorbing everything. This explosion triggers a new Big Bang, birthing countless galaxies and realities, including Helios's galaxy, the Lego Galaxy, the Rocket Racing Galaxy, the Festival Galaxy, and many others. Then, we reach Chapter 5. The fate of the alternative past versions of the Seven following the Big Bang remains unknown. As for the present-day Seven, their disappearance continues, but Jones and the player persists, carrying their legacy and defending reality just as they always have. And that's gonna wrap it up for the journey of the Seven, at least for now. From mysterious origins and epic battles to disappearances and comic resets, their story has shaped the very fabric of Fortnite's reality. If you guys enjoy diving into the Seven's lore, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Do you have theories about what happened to the Seven, or what's next for Jones and the player? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes on the Zero Point.